Do you want to know what really happened between David Benavidez and Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez? Benavidez moved up in weight, challenged himself to try to become a three-division champion. Was he successful? In this video, I will unpack, uncover, and unearth everything about last night's fight and let you know once and for all what really happened. Buckle up. We're going to go over it. David Benavidez and Zurdo Ramirez at cruiserweight. What really happened? Let's get unpacked. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego. I'm back. Listen, David Benavidez versus Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez just took place. Shout out to PBC. Before I get into what really happened, I got to say, thank you, Al Heyman. Premier boxing champions, they showed they are a cut above. I'll get to the fight, but I got to get the particulars out of the way, right? Just like you watch a fight and they do the national anthems, the ring walks, you get that with me. If you don't like it, scram. Al Heyman, PBC, they did their thing. They're matchmaking on another level. And it's funny because a lot of people hype up all this other stuff in boxing to play the agenda game, push propaganda. But when it comes down to it, there's an easy, very easy formula for boxing. Make good fights. Make intriguing fights. Make interesting fights. And the rest kind of solves itself. That card, that's exactly what they did. I enjoyed it. Sanchez fight, the Fierro and Oscar Duarte, the main event, Armando Resendez losing his title to Jaime Munguia. Munguia looked crazy. And I'll bring up some of what happened there because it pertains to another fighter, Canelo. But let's get to the main event and what really happened. Now, congratulations to David Benavidez. This dude is a beast. And on my channel, I've been warning you and telling you about this. A lot of people say, oh, Ego, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't believe you. All right. Now look at you. David Benavidez on top of the world, and everybody, they're getting their money's worth. When he fights, you're getting your money's worth. Point blank, period. You get your money's worth. And I'm just going to be real. In this modern age of boxing, kind of a rarity. I noticed in this modern age of boxing, you got a lot of Gen Z fighters, and I've been really going in because this is what I see. You know, you got a lot of Gen Z fighters, and it's just a lot of lip, a lot of talk, a lot of like, I'm the best. Everybody wants to watch me. I'm the A side. And then when you boil it down, you're not really putting butts in the seats. You're not putting up these type of performances like Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. Now, they're doing their thing, but when we're talking about, you got Haney-act content creators, and they're saying Devin Haney's the face of boxing. When a guy like Gervonta Davis exists, when guys like David Benavidez exist, how can you be unless they retired, right? Or unless they fell off or something. And I know Tank has legal problems, but he didn't fall off. And it's evident because as soon as he fights or anything he posts, everybody's talking about it. And I guarantee you they're talking about bringing him back this year. You know, everyone's going to be talking about Tank's fight, good, bad, or indifferent. Point blank, period. Now, as far as the Benavidez fight, it wasn't much of a fight. It was a performance, meaning it was quasi-competitive, but I gave David Benavidez from the opening bell to the 6th round where it ended, I pretty much gave him all of the rounds. There was only one round where it was kind of like, maybe Ramirez can get it. So let me tell you how that happened. Round 1, Benavidez, you could tell that he's been doing this and doing it at a high level because he doesn't do too much filling out. He's confident in his chin. He's confident in his ability. And he really just starts working, right? So he was kind of pot-shotting. And there's this beautiful thing that Benavidez does where he's really just releasing singles, right? 1-2s and 1s and singles, right? Not really opening up. But as the fight progresses, that's where David Benavidez, he really shows you an arsenal. Uppercuts, left hook to the body, a little slap, chopping punch, and a hook to the body, double hook, jab your face off, hook. Like, he just started mixing them. And by the end of his fights, you see what is done to the opponents, and you see the condition of their face. They look completely gassed out. Like, this Zurdo fight looked very similar to the later rounds of Anthony Yarde fight. I was even say, even though Yarde was at 175, Anthony Yarde did better. I mean, he didn't do amazing, but in my opinion, he did better than Gilberto Ramirez, who's a bigger guy at cruiserweight, right? And the dangerous thing is Benavidez is like a sports car. You can't let him get up to speed. I think your best bet would be neutralize, make him respect you, do something very soon. But once he gets to 60, 65, 70, 80 miles an hour, he becomes harder and harder to stop. And that's what happened. It just became a crescendo, and he kept rising and rising, putting his punches together. And then on top of it, Benavidez is mean. So it's like a shark when they smell blood in the water. It's like you chopped. And he just gets more aggressive. He starts getting surgical and putting his punches together. You can hear the thump. You can hear like he's putting mustard on it. And he just started lacing you. And that's what happened. Round 4, he really started to expose Zurdo Ramirez, putting the punches together. And then it culminated in dropping Zurdo Ramirez. In round 4, he got dropped. The crazy part about it is, in my opinion, Ramirez wasn't doing half bad in that round. It was actually a pretty good round, but in boxing, it don't really matter if you can't sustain it. Like, you could be having a great round, you get knocked down, you lost the round. And that's what happened. Ramirez was doing pretty good. So if Benavidez didn't keep pushing, get the knockdown, maybe you could have gave that round to Ramirez. But how it played out, it's a knockdown round. Only one guy got a knockdown. Benavidez round. Surprisingly, after the 4th round knockdown, where Zurdo looked like he was in a bad position, he did pretty good in round 5. Again, you could tell he wanted to win. You could tell he had heart. And it was a good, remember I said earlier in this video, there was only one round where you maybe could give to Gilberto Ramirez. And now, to me, was round 5. And even that, it was very contested, where Benavidez, he kind of took a round off a little bit, but in between that, he was still working and still landing some good shots. So I'd have to probably rewatch it to see if I actually would give it to Zurdo Ramirez or if it was still a Benavidez round. Because for me, I don't like to give charity rounds where you got crushed in round 4, and because you did better, I'm being more partial and lenient and kind of grading on a curve because you went from a disastrous round to, okay, you picked it up and you're doing a lot better. Because boxing shouldn't be really scored like that. You should score round by round, who's landing the better selection punches, who's landing more. And the writing was on the wall because in round 4, I think it was, they showed a graphic and it had said that Benavidez landed an absurd amount of punches, like 63% of his punches were landed on Zurdo Ramirez. Those type of stats, you can't really allow for that. You can't allow a power puncher like Benavidez to be landing that much and that frequently. And round 5, like I said, he did pretty good, but still could have been a Benavidez round. I'd have to watch it again. We get to the round 6. That's where it all ended. Benavidez just started picking him apart, chewing him up, and he hurt him. You don't want to see a big guy like Zurdo Ramirez backing up. You can see the status of his eye, right? He started backpedaling, backing up, and ripping to the body. And that's where Benavidez did this to Lemieux as well. He just started picking you apart, like, bah, 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 bah. You get hit to the head. Like, fighting Benavidez has to truly be a frustrating experience. Like, it's like you're fighting an octopus, right? It's like you're getting jumped. You're like, punches are coming from all angles, weird angles, hurtful angles. Some are harder than others. Not every punch has the mustard on it. Some are just to touch you. It's a great game. I told you, like earlier on the card, you had Jaime Munguia, and he looked better. All of a sudden, he got unlimited energy. But the thing with Jaime Munguia is he loads up on everything. So a more skillful fighter is going to pick up, okay, he's throwing everything hard. Benavidez don't do that. He'll throw hard in between some touch you, like, bah, 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 and then he'll explode. Like, it's just a different rhythm, and it becomes harder to try to decipher when that power shot is coming and what angle is coming from, which we'll get into right now. Now, if you like this kind of video, make sure you guys subscribe. And I got clips for y'all. I want y'all to see. I remastered this particular clip so you can really focus on the fighters and the action. Appreciate everybody for rocking with me, holding the channel down, the cash apps, the super chats, people tuning into the watch party. This helps us become a well-oiled machine. Many ways to support the channel, link in the description. I'm going out of my way, doing a little bit more than anybody in boxing to give you guys stuff like that. So just make sure it's reciprocated and appreciated. So this is the final round. And tell me how ridiculous this looked. And I gotta, hold on, let me cut the music. Cut the music off, please. Right? Because I want you to hear the punches. Like, bro, what? Like, what do you even, that's why I said it's like you fighting an octopus. Fight back. You remember that video where they're just jumping him and like, fight back. And he just like, dude getting murphed up. Like, what do you even do to that? And the crazy part about it is if you really pay attention and have a keen boxing eye like me, Ramirez is trying to counter, but he's just getting blasted so crazily that Benavidez had the better punches. Watch. I'll try to show it. Look, he just getting teed off on. Look, he was trying to throw back. You look. But Benavidez is too fast and he was throwing. Look, bow. He tried to throw back and I think he even connected. No? Look, it looked like he even connected. But Benavidez wasn't discouraged and then let off this. Bow. Caught him with a hook. And then he starts stumbling back, squinting, holding his eye. Look. And then Benavidez was about to be on him. And he just hit the deck. Crazy. Now, I personally knew the fight was likely over. And I don't care what none of y'all say. Zurdo quit. Here's why. I don't just put that jacket. It's like where I'm from, you can't just call somebody a snitch. You got to have paperwork. I'm going to explain why this was a no mas moment for Ramirez. Now, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm for educational purposes, I'm breaking down the sport of boxing, right? I'm not trying to like kick the guy while he's down. I've covered several Ramirez fights. I don't have a problem with the guy. But here's why I believe it was a no mas. Because I'm not doubting you're in pain and your eye was definitely swelling up, but that comes with your job. That comes with the territory that there may be oh-ish moments where you got to fight through it, right? That's a reality of the profession you chose. Don't get mad at me. You chose that. Many fighters before you have broken hands, torn tendons and ligaments, and torn biceps. And I remember David Haye, when he fought Tony Bellew, his Achilles was gone. He was trying to stand up and throw power shots with couldn't put no weight on his leg. You know what I mean? This is the job field you're in. You know what I mean? Nobody else told you to do that. But here's why I believe it's a quit. You got hurt, and for the second time, you took a knee. So you voluntarily went down, right? Because it was too much punishment. Then, after the second time voluntarily taking a knee, you spit your mouthpiece out. Watch. Let's see if you can see it. Pay attention. So you see he landed he looked like Iron Man landing. You know what I mean? And watch his mouthpiece. That's why I remastered this for you guys. Let's see if you can see it. Boop. Let me see. I got to watch it again. See? It's hanging out of his mouth. You see it? It comes out of his mouth. Pause. I know y'all seen that. Boop. Ain't nobody spit there like you quit. You again, I get pain. You could bite down on your gum shield, on your mouthpiece. You literally spit it out on the canvas. That's a telltale sign that somebody has had enough. It's like when people turn their back. Like, come on, bro. You've been fighting all your life. You got X amount of fights. Because he had a lot of fights, to be honest, because he came up through the Mexico circuit or whatever. Any boxer knows the telltale sign. You turn your back. You don't answer the ref. You spit your mouthpiece out. These are just telltale signs someone don't want it. But then the ego eye, a.k.a. the eagle eye, I looked at Thomas Taylor, the referee right there. He's trying to get Benavidez, like, all right, you did your thing, go to the neutral corner. And then when he's administering the count on Zurdo Ramirez, he's obviously like 5, 6 or whatever. And he's like, do you want to continue? And Zurdo looks at him and shakes his head. Watch. Look, go to the neutral corner. Benavidez runs to the neutral corner. He waiting for the count. And watch this man, Ramirez. I'm going to see if I can zoom in for y'all. Watch. He'll shake his head. You see it? It was brief. But I try to zoom in for y'all. It was brief. Hold on. He's counting. So you haven't been counted out. He's in your face letting you know that he's administering the count. And then you look at him and say, watch. He just shook his head like no. And then he waved it off. Great refereeing. That's how you do it. Benavidez, he on the thing celebrating. That's how you handle business. So, yeah, Zurdo Ramirez, he quit. And it was pretty shocking because he's a champion. He's a longtime fighter. And I never seen him like that. That's what makes the Benavidez performance so impressive, because the first thing that I noticed, even before they even got in the ring, was how big this man looked next to David Benavidez. So Benavidez moved up 25 pounds to fight Gilberto Ramirez, and he looked huge the whole time, like in the build-up, on the week of the fight, during the fight. Look at how big he looks, right? Look at how big the man looks. There's clearly a noticeable size difference. That's why I told you, Benavidez is a throwback fighter. He moving in a different way. Other people ain't doing that. He just stopped the champion, 25 pounds bigger. Yeah, they used to spar and stuff, so he probably knew certain vulnerabilities, but you still got to execute. And over the years, people could get better, you know? People get better and improve and get stronger, you know, or stronger willed, or, you know what I mean, whatever. He actually had a pro camp, and Benavidez just went in and tore him up and just stopped him like it was nothing, winning virtually every round and hurting him bad. So anybody hating on Benavidez, you like, at this point, I get it. You didn't want to listen to me when I told you about the kid, but now you just look like a hater. You look dumb. He went out there, did his thing, showstopper, electrifying performance, right? And you just about to be out here hating? Like, come on, bro. Watch this. I don't know. His style is just super, super fun to watch. And I've been telling y'all that for a minute. Ooh, body shot. Hold that. Ooh, hold that. You see that counter? See, look, he was like, Zurdo was really trying. I don't know if Zurdo connected, but you see him backing up, and then Benavidez started walking him down and jumped right on him. It's just like, look, he got caught with a counter, but it just wasn't enough. Maybe not enough steam on it because he had already hurt him. Look, he on the ropes. Like he bullying the bigger man. Hold that. Hold that. Oh. Look. So a lot of people are like hating on Zurdo, like he didn't try, it was fixed. Zurdo tried. He's trying. It's just some guys got your number. Look, bro, what can you do? Like the man is like on you too tough, and you're probably getting tired. He keep clubbing at you, like ain't nobody enduring that. And that was the end of round 4. But watch this. Look, you see Benavidez's head getting hit a little bit too, but it just he was not discouraged enough. Look, they traded right there, but Benavidez just on him too crazy. And busted his whole face up. And he was saved by the bell. I told you I got a couple clips. I got a couple. And he's tired. Saved by the Bell. Come on. Oh my God. This is the finish. Like, how do you, what, like, y'all are like trying to make it like Zurdo can't fight or something. Nobody did this to him. I watched all of his fights. Jesse Hart didn't do this to him. Arthur Abram, who was in the Super Six, ain't do this to him. Dimitri Bivol didn't do all this to him. If we're being honest, he beat him, but he ain't do all this. Look at the man's head. Watch again. Look, he had to take that knee again. And watch, he shake his head. Fight over. Come on. Like, I don't really know what more people can do. You just got to walk through some flames. Battering him. And then he was about to hit him again until the referee told him to go to the neutral corner. Yeah, I don't really know what else could be done. Y'all let me know in the comment section. So, tour de force performance by David Benavidez. I absolutely loved it. I loved it for so many reasons. One, I'm happy for Benavidez because I feel like these are the type of performances you have no choice but to respect him. He keeps doing the same thing, keeps stopping. Anthony Durrell had never been stopped. Benavidez stopped him, right? I don't even know if Jay Leon Love had been stopped. Benavidez stopped him, right? Ramirez hadn't been dropped in 15 years, hadn't been stopped. Benavidez stopped him. Anthony Yard had been stopped, but Benavidez also stopped him. So, I mean, at what point do you identify somebody as like, okay, they're special? This can't be a coincidence. They keep doing it, right? They keep doing the same thing over and over, and y'all want to hate. And I want y'all to look at the comments. Boxing has a lot of suspect fans, right? They'll be like, oh, I'm not impressed. Zurdo was not that good. He was never that good. Then why didn't Bivol do that to him? How come no one else did that to him? If it's so easy, then how come Shakur Stevenson don't want to move up 7 pounds to fight Ryan Garcia, who y'all say ain't that good? 7 pounds versus 25 pounds. Shakur is like, no, come to 140. Fight with all these weight restrictions. Why doesn't Shakur move up to 147 when he has the frame to do it, right? He don't look that much smaller than Bud in them pictures where they're sparring and whatnot. So a lot of y'all telling yourself Shakur might be your favorite fighter and he won't move up 7 pounds to fight a Ryan Garcia. And y'all say, oh, Ryan's racist, Ryan's trash. All he got is a left hook. Okay, tell Shakur to move up 7 pounds and fight Ryan. If you think it's just easy to move up 25 pounds and dethrone a champion by stoppage, which is what Benavidez did, right? If you're trying to undermine it and make it look like it's an easy feat, that all you have to do is fight a champion like Zurdo, who's way bigger than you, and you can just jump up with no tune-ups, no acclimating to the division, and easily go to cruiserweight, right? Canelo, and we'll get to him in a second, he was talking about fighting at cruiserweight. He wanted to fight Makbook Air, some unheralded, unknown guy. Benavidez fought a guy who knew him from sparring and a unified champion in multiple weight classes. He'd been a champion, and he was way bigger. Levels. Shout out to Benavidez. Now, I got to talk about the guy Canelo. And the Canelo man fans, report to the nearest exit because you're not going to like what I got to say. Now, this is a bad look for Canelo. His stablemate, Jaime Munguia, won his fight. So he's leaving and kissing a man, or whoever that guy is. I don't know who that is. So he's being, going back to the locker room. And guess what Canelo decides to do? Before David Benavidez in the main event Canelo's like, I'm leaving too, right? You see Eddie Reynoso, right? And Canelo's ringside, mind you, at the fight. And now David Benavidez is about to walk out shortly after this fight clears out or whatever. And then your boy Canelo gets up and decides to leave. Look, there you go. Look, he leaving, he running. Bro, this look horrible. I don't care what none of y'all say. This look bad. Here's why. The world believes Canelo ducked David Benavidez for many, many years. You don't want to fight him. You never wanted to fight him. You always had an excuse. Oh, hey, you fight nobody. One Anthony Durrell. You fight guys. Do not disrespect me, right? I represent Mexico, right? You keep saying all this stuff. I don't want to fight him because he ain't fought nobody. He need to build his name up. He can't sell. I don't want to fight someone that has the Mexican flag like me. Who's he beat? But then you can fight Avni Yildirim. Why you ain't ask who he can beat? You can fight Billy Joe Saunders. This is where the fighters start to play in your face, right? Playing games like the world hasn't asked you to fight David Benavidez. In fact, Canelo would get mad if people brought Benavidez's name up at his post-fight press conferences, right? So it looks bad because it's his event, and I get it. You have a stablemate on the card, but you went to his event. I get, like, I wouldn't have went if I was him because you already knew what it is. You knew the world wanted you to fight him, so it just looks bad. Now you can go to his fight. And then to add insult to injury, not only did you go, but before the main event, which happened to be a great fight between two Mexicans on Cinco de Mayo, you leave. You leave the venue because you knew that David Benavidez was going to call you out or maybe try to get you in the ring or talk ish, and you didn't want to be there for that. End of an era. That's a bad look for Canelo, right? He begged for the Mexican dates, right? Got him based on his popularity, but then you didn't uphold the Mexican dates. Now you're fighting in Saudi Arabia, which makes it harder for the Mexican fan or just boxing fans or Latinos or Hispanic, and it doesn't really honor the Mexican dates by taking it to a Muslim country where they don't even celebrate Cinco de Mayo. But then in America, where probably about the only, because even in Mexico, they don't really celebrate Cinco de Mayo like that. You know what I mean? But in America, where it is celebrated, you gave up your date for David Benavidez, the guy we've been wanting to see you fight. And then you have a all-Mexican main event, Mexican and Ecuadorian, if we're being technical with David, and you leave. You walk out before the main event like, my job here is done, because you watch Munguia fight, and you don't want to be there when the fans start cheering and demanding you fight Benavidez. So you excused yourself and got a hall pass and cut up out of there. You're coming off of a loss to a smaller Terrence Crawford. You had the audacity to even go to Benavidez's fight after avoiding him. And then the whole world got to see you dip out early because, like clockwork, you already knew Canelo picked Benavidez to beat Zurdo. There's an interview with Jim Gray. He's like, are you going to give a fight prediction? And he was like, oh, I picked Benavidez, right? So you picked him to win, a.k.a. you were confident or you knew or thought he would win. That's why, because you picked him to win. That's why you didn't want to be there when he did win, which is what happened. Because what happened, and I've already made a video about it, check it on the channel. He called you out. He's like, I heard Canelo was here, was good. Do y'all want that? And the crowd was like, yeah. That's why Canelo, when they showed him on the Jumbotron, which I had never really seen in Vegas, they were actually booing him. They were actually booing him. Right? So, in my opinion, David Benavidez is, him and Gervonta Davis are the faces of boxing. Canelo has had his time, but go fight in Billy in Saudi Arabia and leave the Mexican dates for David Benavidez. He's more fun to watch. He's younger. You ducked him, and he's putting up better performances. Canelo, okay. The man Benavidez fought Morrell, fought Yard, and fought Zurdo Ramirez, right? And Alexander Vodstick. So that's 4 opponents. Tell me 4 consecutive performances that Canelo had that were better than these Benavidez. And don't talk about like, oh, Angulo, Edislandi Lara. Like, I'm talking about recently, right? And you'll see it ain't even consistent competition. He'll fight Caleb Plant, then he'll fight Yildirim or something, or Billy Joe Saunders. You know what I mean? It's like all up and down. The Canelo's done for, bro. The people see what it is. Benavidez definitely won fans. He turned the boy Ramirez into a Cyclops. The Goonies. Hey, you guys. Rocky Road. Bro, this is 6 rounds with David Benavidez. This is what you can expect. That's why, and it's so sad because the Canelo fans are perhaps some of the fakest fans in all of boxing. Right? Here's why. For years, the Canelo man fans told me, oh, don't worry about it, ego. Canelo's going to fight your boy Benavidez, and he's going to wash him. He's going to cook him. He's going to destroy him. He's going to knock him out. And I'm like, when? Oh, he can't fight everybody. Let him take care of Yildirim. All right, is he going to fight Benavidez? No, let him take care of Billy Joe Saunders. Okay, is he going to fight it? No, let him take care of Caleb Plant. And so on and so forth. Every time people like me and other real boxing fans push for Canelo to fight Benavidez, it kept getting pushed off. There were more excuses. Oh, he got to fight Jaime Munguia. Hey, I thought he said he didn't want to fight a Mexican fighter. So you rather fight a full-blooded Mexican fighter after saying you don't want to fight someone that shares the flag, but then David's half Ecuadorian, half Mexican, and you won't fight him. You'll fight Berlanga, but you won't fight Benavidez. You'll fight Jermell Charlo and move him up in weight and disrupt 54, because notice after he left 54, all the belts got split up, right? And ruin a division to fight Jermell. You'll fight Crawford and bring him up. But the 2 guys that fought, you never wanted to fight. Zurdo Ramirez kept calling you out back in the day. You never fought him. Benavidez been calling you out. You never fought him. Then you go to the fight, duck out and leave the fight. Why not stay to watch the main event? All of a sudden you don't got time. You sleepy? Like, come on, bro. It's Benavidez's time, period. And Canelo's showing you he don't care about the fans. He about to fight in Saudi Arabia, they're saying. What part of fight, like what's the point to even have the Mexican dates if you're fighting in Saudi Arabia where they don't celebrate the Mexican dates? I'm not understanding. So maybe you guys can help me to understand that, how that makes sense. And again, the Canelo fans are pathetic. This is 6 rounds with David Benavidez, right? He's stopping a much bigger, Zurdo way bigger than than Benavidez and Canelo, and he just stopped him. So now, after years of the Canelo fans stalling on the Benavidez fight, like, oh, he's gonna knock your boy out. Just wait. Now they like, oh, I don't blame Canelo for never fighting him. Oh, he's too big. Oh, he needs to fight at heavyweight. These people are liars. What happened to the whole section where you said Canelo's going to get to your boy? Canelo's going to knock out Benavidez. And then they leapfrog from what they were saying then to now Benavidez is looking like the Mexican monster and looking like a real problem. And now they're saying something, oh, man, I don't blame Canelo. He shouldn't fight Benavidez. Yeah, you're saying that because you're a man fan. And you know if he does fight Benavidez, it probably won't work out for him, right? If you're losing to a career lightweight 140, 147 pound Crawford, I don't see what you can do to fight Benavidez. You would be punching upward. He's faster than you. Canelo's defense ain't looked like that Danny Jacobs clip in many, many years. So let's cut the crap and admit once and for all that the king of boxing talk, the best in the business, and it's not even close, I've always been right on this subject, and you guys were scared. We could have avoided this a long time ago. Say, Canelo, I think he'll lose. I'm afraid for him. I don't want to see him fight Benavidez. Then I can respect you because you kept it real. But y'all didn't want to do that. Y'all wanted to fake, pump fake, posture, act like Canelo was going to fight against David Benavidez at some point. But you see Mr. I was born ready cutting out instead of even watching the fight because he knew what was coming and he knew the fans would demand, yo, we need to see after that Zurdo whooping, we need to see the other Mexican fighter that's even bigger than Zurdo, like name-wise. We need to see him fight Benavidez. And they didn't want that. And Canelo didn't want that, so he excused himself. What part of the game is that? So anyway, it's Benavidez's moment. Now the Canelo fans are scared. Oh, I see why Canelo doesn't fight him. But that's not what y'all were saying years ago. You were saying Canelo would beat him and that Benavidez wasn't ready. Does he look ready now? Look at this man's face. Look what he did to a 6'2.5" Zurdo Ramirez. They're saying he broke his orbital. They're saying he broke his orbital. The man had to go to the doctor to get looked at. So I think the Canelo fans, y'all might as well just give it up. Y'all know that boy don't want to fight no Benavidez and never did. Like I told y'all. Y'all had every excuse under the sun. But right now it's Benavidez's time. Job well done. I enjoyed the whole card, actually. I definitely enjoyed the main event. And that's rare. Like, that's rare in boxing right now, where the main event, like, we've been seeing, like, where the main event don't deliver. And look. This is what Benavidez did. Bro, he put this big old dude on the stretcher. Man, come on, bro. Zurdo was definitely a lot over 200 pounds. He looked like he was 227, 230. And this man put him on a stretcher. What do you think will happen with the Canelo fight? And then, like, for real, it's not just the Canelo fans. It's the Crawford fans, too. The Crawford fans, after Crawford beat Canelo, Turkey said he wanted to have Canelo fight Benavidez, but then he lost to Crawford. Then Turkey starts suggesting that Terrence Crawford fight Benavidez at 168 maybe, or 175. And the Crawford fans, the Bud Buddies, they were like, no, the fight don't make sense. Benavidez is too big. Huh? Yo. The world wanted to see Canelo versus David Benavidez. When Canelo fought Terrence Crawford, he looked bigger than Canelo. So it was okay for Canelo to be pressured to fight David Benavidez. But then when Crawford has left 154 when it's popping, and there's guys like Boots and Fundora there that would be great fights, he elected to move up to fight Canelo, became undisputed, and now people are like, man, what's the next big fight up here for him? And Turkey, who's the breadwinner, he was like, yeah, what about that fight? And then the Bud Buddies, they got mad, like, oh, no, that don't make sense, and da-da-da-da. This is why. Because the bottom line is Benavidez is the Mexican monster. He's as advertised. You don't think Benavidez would fight Crawford at a reasonable, a weight that made sense? You don't think he would fight him? He beat his brother. Crawford beat Jose Benavidez. You don't think David would try to avenge that? But the Crawford fans know that Benavidez is serious and they don't want to see it. So congratulations. I'll talk about it more, but Benavidez is as advertised, like I've been telling you. And that's what really happened. Hype this video up, subscribe to my channel, do as you're told. I'm killing it for y'all in the space of boxing. Congratulations, David Benavidez. What really happened?